So the grift and the corruption are both coming full circle. Rudy Giuliani has reportedly discussed a blanket preemptive pardon from President Donald Trump in these last 7 weeks before Trump leaves office. Trump also reportedly considering preemptive blanket pardons for 3 of his children, as well as his son-in-law, Jared Kushner. The New York Times can report, based on multiple sources told about the conversation, that Rudy Giuliani, as recently as last week, was talking to Donald Trump about a pardon. It's not clear as of yet whether Rudy Giuliani originally brought it up to Trump or whether Trump brought it up to Giuliani, but there have now reportedly been multiple conversations. The most recent one was last week. Donald Trump has reportedly not yet decided what he will do about pardoning Rudy Giuliani. And the same questions remain about Trump pardoning Jared Kushner, as well as his children, Ivanka, Don Jr. and Eric. Now, Trump reportedly not considering a pardon for Tiffany Trump. I guess he doesn't expect that she might be charged with anything. But the immediate question is, pardon from what? Rudy hasn't even been charged with anything. Neither have his children. And that is exactly the question that's raising the most attention. It's not actually clear what Rudy Giuliani might be charged with in the future. But the fact that it's being discussed multiple times at the highest levels is very interesting. We know that Rudy was being investigated last summer by federal investigators for maybe violating lobbying law through the work he did with Ukraine. But beyond that, it's not exactly clear. Now, what we do know is that as a general concept, the idea here is that with regard to his children and son-in-law, at least, and it may be similar with Rudy Giuliani, Donald Trump believes that there will be partisan investigations and possibly prosecutions of his children after he leaves office. And so it's not because from Trump's perspective, it's not that he thinks his kids committed crimes. It's that he thinks they didn't, but they might be charged with crimes anyway by a partisan Joe Biden administration. There's this funny thing. Trump always projects his immorality and his do whatever for a buck or whatever for revenge sort of attitude on other people. Trump is worried Biden would go after Trump's kids, even though they didn't do anything as far as Trump is concerned, because that's exactly what Trump would do if he were Joe Biden. But Joe Biden has clearly shown no interest and has even said he has no plan to direct his Justice Department to do anything of the sort. But a lot of Trump's behavior is motivated by what Trump imagines he would do if in someone else's position. Now, Rudy Giuliani's spokeswoman was asked about the seeking a pardon, and she said Giuliani can't comment on any discussions he's had with his client, Trump being his client. So what we're talking about here are blanket, broad, open-ended, preemptive pardons. This is very rare, but it has happened in the past. George Washington. Yeah, we have to go back. We don't have to go back that far, but one notable example goes back to George Washington, who pardoned those who were plotting the Whiskey Rebellion so that they wouldn't be prosecuted for treason. Gerald Ford pardoned Richard Nixon for all his actions as president. Now, it is important to remember a few important things about presidential pardons. Number one, they work for federal crimes, not state crimes. So if the Southern District of New York, as an example, were to bring charges against Rudy or Ivanka or whoever, we're still not sure for what, but if they did, the pardon from Trump wouldn't protect them there. Number two, whether preemptive blanket pardons work is a legal question. And what I mean by that is a president can do it. And in the past, these preemptive pardons have dissuaded anybody from prosecuting the pardoned individuals. Like, for example, when Gerald Ford pardoned Richard Nixon, the pardon was challenged legally. It was found to be constitutional, but it was never brought to the Supreme Court. It is conceivable that a Supreme Court could say a blanket preemptive pardon is not okay. Whether it ever gets to the Supreme Court is a question. And, with the Supreme Court we have right now, I'm not sure this Supreme Court is going to rule against blanket preemptive pardons from Donald Trump. So that's one part of this. Now, as far as Donald Trump is concerned, he just pardoned his convicted former national security advisor, Michael Flynn, last week. He previously commuted the sentence of Roger Stone. He also pardoned less well-known people. Now, just a funny side note, things are so crazy right now that when I read the original headline about this story, I thought maybe Rudy and Trump talked about Trump pardoning Trump. The first headline I saw said something like, Giuliani discussed a preemptive pardon with Trump. That could mean Giuliani talked to Trump about Trump pardoning Rudy, but it could also mean that as his lawyer, Giuliani talked to Trump about Trump pardoning himself. And a self-pardon is a completely different story. Unclear whether that is something Donald Trump could do. So the long and short of it is, Rudy wants immunity for everything, no matter what, in perpetuity, and a sort of free pass. And that would be for things let me see how I can say this the right way. The pardon can't be for things that you do after the pardon. So in other words, if Rudy is pardoned and the next day commits a federal crime, the legal consensus is that would not be covered by a presidential pardon. We're going to follow it. Many pardons coming from Donald Trump in the next 7 weeks for sure. I want to let you know that our sponsor, Vincero Watches, is having a massive holiday sale on all of their products right now, and you can take advantage of it by going to davidpakman.com/watch. A brand new high quality wristwatch really is the perfect way to add something fresh to your style, whether it's for you or a gift for someone else. Vincero is a brand that has a serious dedication to the craft of watchmaking, which is really evident when you look closely at their watches. I wear Vincero watches myself. Lately, I've been wearing one from their Icon Automatic collection. It's the mesh matte black watch, and I love the sleek minimalist design. Their watches are actually sold at a fair price. Their mission has always been to make a wristwatch from high-end materials, but one that everyday people can afford. And that's why they have over 25,000 five-star reviews, because you won't find a better made watch for this great of a price anywhere else. You can get big holiday discounts on all of their products right now and free shipping when you go to davidpakman.com/watch. I've put the link right underneath this video.